Welcome to Mic'd Up with Mayor Lawson, a show where we bring the conversation of Riviera Beach directly to you. Every month, we're going to highlight the people, the policies, and the progress of shaping our beautiful city. I'm honored to have Ms. Kelly Smallridge with the Business Development Board here joining us for Mic'd Up with Mayor Lawson. As my inaugural guest, I'm honored and beyond humbled that you would actually join us for this show with Riviera Beach and all of our residents. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm happy to be your inaugural guest, and it's a great time to be talking about economic development.
The work that I've seen you do, it could be no one better than to showcase the business development and community development of Riviera Beach and the potential that we have. So we're going to get into it and just kind of talk about some of the things and the greatness that happens in our community. So tell us about your work with the Business Development Board and what it does to impact Riviera Beach and what you can do to impact Riviera Beach.
Good question. So the Business Development Board is Palm Beach County's official economic development agency, which was created over 40 years ago by the business community and chambers of commerce. We have a very simple mission. We are here to recruit, retain, and expand companies to Palm Beach County. So every morning we wake up and serve on the front line with executives who are looking at Palm Beach County, Nashville, Austin, Charlotte, and many other cities and trying to determine whether or not Palm Beach County has the assets that will allow them to be competitive in this location.
Well, we need to get Riviera Beach at the top of that list because that's exactly what we want to do and showcase by building wealth and economic development. So what challenges do you see in our community that we could try to address?
So there are a couple of challenges, and I would say that at the top of the list is affordability. Right. We have seen unbelievable economic growth here in Palm Beach County, and so the value of our properties have gone up. Affording a home and affording an apartment and a place to live is a challenge. We also have the perception of public education, right, and really promoting the fact that we do have great public schools is pretty important, because when executives are moving here, they don't necessarily want to send their kids to private schools, and so making sure that our schools are great and that our students are coming out with skills that are applicable to the companies we're recruiting is very, very important. I would also say that safety. Right. When executives are looking at Riviera Beach and other parts of Palm Beach County, they want to make sure that it is a safe place. So as we're going down areas like Blue Heron and Broadway, that first perception is very important to what an executive is thinking when they look at relocating or expanding their operations.
The good and the bad and the ugly is what we have to talk about. And that's the purpose of this show and showcasing, the important leaders that are here to help us elevate and grow together. We have to work as an ecosystem. So looking at everybody that's doing things in our community. So thank you for the feedback and the constructive criticism, because Riviera Beach needs that development, needs that growth, it needs that additional push that we're trying to give. Our city manager is doing a phenomenal job with it, our staff, yes, and we have a consistent board that's been working hard to change the narrative of Riviera Beach. So we're gonna keep working with you to get this done.
Well, thank you.
What can we do, city and residents, to support your mission in Riviera Beach with the BDB?
So remember, if the city of Riviera Beach would really like to see more economic growth and vitality, you have to plan holistically to accommodate that growth. So if you look at cities that are able to land companies, it is because that starts a lot with real estate. Real estate is a big factor, oh, yeah, right? So if you have Class A office buildings with water views, you're going to attract that type of tenant. If you have 200,000 square foot warehouse distribution facilities, you'll attract that type of tenant. So from a city perspective, with your city council mayor, and as you are guiding them, if you holistically take a look at the opportunities for infill development, as well as the vacant parcels of land that you have, and you zone accordingly, right, and allow developers to come in and partner with you to go vertical. Sometimes density and intensity is an evil word.
I was going to say, those are some bad words.
They're bad words.
Right.
But if you want good jobs for your residents,
yeah,
you have to build product that will attract the right type of tenant there. Yeah. So take a look at that. And then again, ensuring that your schools are all A-rated schools are very important. For your residents, they need to be the best ambassadors and advocates and cheerleaders for the city of Riviera Beach. So if you polled your residents and said, what do you think of Riviera Beach? They are the people that executives and employees will talk to when looking at whether or not they're going to move to your city.
You touched on some major topics that we're actually addressing in the city and that we want to keep addressing. So thank you for that, because 80% of Riviera Beach is an opportunity zone. So attracting business and development will help with kind of the businesses that you're bringing in and the structure that we're doing with changing the zoning and the codes in our community. But then also the densities. We were being progressive and not reactive, but then proactive when we changed the densities on our Broadway and Avenue E corridors from 6 stories up to 25 stories with the options of affordable housing, workforce housing through the MEHOP program. So attracting that housing, attracting those additional densities and intensities is what we want to do to really showcase that beautiful waterfront, develop without displacing our residents. So thank you for that. Where do you see our community in the next 5 years?
So I think that the community, Riviera Beach, and the entire county has the opportunity, coming off of the Wall Street South very robust initiative, to really attract innovation-based companies, technology type of companies. You're going to have the back end of warehouse distribution, data centers, and then you're going to have the front end, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data analytics. And so Riviera Beach, in our best view, especially going down Blue Heron, is a wonderful opportunity to continue to grow the manufacturing, distribution, logistics, data center side. And I think that good paying jobs, you mentioned density, intensity, housing, it's a balance.
Yeah.
And the last thing that you want to do is create one without the other.
Right.
You don't want to create a lot of good housing product without creating good economic development hubs, because then every day your residents would get up and leave other places to get a job. You want to contain that. So take a look at the targeted industries of aviation, aerospace, business, financial services, life science, corporate headquarters. Your port is a great asset.
Thank you.
Your waterfront is a wonderful asset. Companies like Tropical Shipping, Cheney Brothers, Cisco, Ticomet, these are all big employers in Riviera Beach and hidden gems. And I would say we need to play off of that because they're great job opportunities for your residents.
You have named multiple Fortune 4 and 500 companies.
Correct.
That people don't realize they're housed right in Riviera Beach. So honestly, showcasing it is what we're trying to do. All the work that you're doing is just phenomenal, Kelly. But there's been some major announcements happening across Palm Beach County. What can you tell us about what's happening in Palm Beach County, especially in the business community?
So it's been a big week for economic development.
Yes.
A company by the name of ServiceNow out of Santa Clara, California, announced on Wednesday that they will occupy 200,000 square feet of Class A office space in West Palm and hire 856 new people. Not relocate, but,
Nice.
but hire. They have 26,000 employees worldwide in 68 locations, and they specialize in artificial intelligence and create platforms that allow for the seamless workflow, operation, and efficiencies. So bringing together human resources, payroll, accounting, seamlessly along companies is what they do, and they're going to really have a significant presence. What does that mean to Riviera Beach?
Yeah.
These companies typically like to hire from right down the street. They'd rather not pay relocation
That's it.
packages.
That's it.
You don't always have to have a 4-year college degree and beyond to get a job.
Good.
A matter of fact, ServiceNow is going to have a program called Rise Up ServiceNow, where they will take 18-year-olds with high school degrees, partnering with Palm Beach State College to train up and take a really good job. And the average salary for these jobs is well over $75,000.
Excellent.
Pretty high. So that's a big announcement. We also announced that Horbiger Corporation will open their global headquarters in Western Delray, also building 200,000 square feet. And that is in aviation, aerospace, and engineering. And several other Wall Street South companies that are coming to this area. You may think that what happens in West Palm or Jupiter or Boca is only in that area. But I will tell you that executives do not see city municipal lines.
Right.
When we travel from West Palm to Jupiter and down to Boca and out to the Glades, they really don't know where a municipality begins and ends.
Good.
And oftentimes they ask us to draw a 20-mile radius around the building where they want to locate, whether that's in Riviera or West Palm or Boca, and identify transportation options, housing options, where they will get their education and where they will hire from.
Excellent.
And Riviera Beach is always in that circle.
That circle is going to allow for us to have opportunities and
Yes.
jobs, working with our local schools, especially with those jobs for those high school kids. I can work with our individuals like Emma Banks from Inlet or any of our high schools that are there and give them those opportunities to be gainfully employed so that they can live in our community and work within miles of the actual city. So that's phenomenal. I want to thank you, Kelly, for being our inaugural guest, for actually your commitment to Palm Beach County, especially Riviera Beach. Our residents are grateful for the work that you're doing, what you're going to continue to do, and showcasing our great community, our beachfront, our portfront, the economics that you're going to bring to Riviera Beach. We're going to be honored to continue to work for you and work with you for the years to come. We'll be right back with our next guest, mic'd up with Mayor Lawson.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut, the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
We're kicking off, mic'd off with Mayor Lawson, and I want to be just grateful and thankful that I could have my friend, my community advocate, my city manager, Mr. Jonathan Evans. This is the leader of the city right now, and he's working on focusing on building wealth, equity, and growth to our residents of Riviera Beach. And there's nobody that could think better than Mr. Jonathan Evans. So welcome, thank you, and thank you for allowing me to produce this. So.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for having the foresight and the passion to make sure that our residents are informed about the great things that are happening in our community. And you've been the biggest advocate for making sure that we promote transparency, that we promote access, and we promote opportunities for our residents. So thank you for inviting me to be a guest on your show.
It's been an honor because I've worked with you for close to 7 years now. I've seen the work that you've done. I've seen your tenacity and what you want to actually dedicate to Riviera Beach. So people have to really showcase that. And there was no better person than to kick this show off with. But I want our residents to know a little bit more about what's happening, what you're bringing, and what you want to kind of do for Riviera Beach, because they've just kind of seen you on TV. They've seen the optics, they've seen the narratives, but I think it's time for us to tell our story. So you always have a full plate. What are your top priorities for this coming year for the city of Riviera Beach?
Well, Mr. Mayor, obviously the top priorities that we have is water. Nice. Bringing forward a brand new water treatment process and plant, that's our critical project. And then obviously some of our public safety facilities, City Hall, a lot of our infrastructure. But all that doesn't happen without the men and women that choose to work in the city of Riviera Beach. And I use that word choose very heavily because they can work anywhere. Our staff is phenomenal. Our staff can work in other municipalities throughout Palm Beach County, and I would venture to say that other municipality staffs probably couldn't do some of the challenging jobs that they have. So some of our priorities for our staff is making sure that we elevate our performance. The City Council adopted what is the Customer Bill of Rights, or the Resident Bill of Rights, and that Bill of Rights sets forth what the expectations are. And so we want to elevate our play on the field, right? Utilizing sports terminology, it's football season, so we want to elevate our expectations. We want the community to understand that we want to put our best foot forward. We want to deliver on some of these major priorities. And you have, by the first of the year, you'll have construction occurring on a new water treatment plant, on a new police station, on another fire station. You have a whole bunch of projects and initiatives. Economic development and economic vitality in our community is happening rapidly. We have over, $2 billion on Broadway alone that's going through the entitlement process. So just great time in Riviera Beach with a lot of opportunities in the...
You have literally set the table for all of this, because all this development and growth can honestly come from the direction of your board, but from the implementation of our city staff. So your staff is phenomenal, and you have to take the credit for it. I have to give you credit for it. Our residents have to know who's actually taking the lead on it. So thank you for that. You always want to keep the public informed. There's initiatives that we're putting in place. So what are new initiatives should the residents know about in regards to what's coming, what's happening, and how do we continue to keep them informed?
Yeah, so some of the new initiatives that you'll see is we're going to be a lot more responsive and we're going to be a lot more accessible. We're really going to make sure that we take the information to the public and we meet the public where they are. These projects and these initiatives and the things that we're doing really don't take full stride unless the community knows in fact what's happening. So you'll see a lot more of myself as well as my team out in the community at events, participating in community conversations and dialogue, working with your office to make sure that we pull back the veil of government and we're more transparent. Also, some of the projects that we have coming on the horizon with the new water treatment plant, with the new police station, with Fire Station 86 on Singer Island, really showing the community some of the investments that we're making associated with infrastructure. And then the other side of it is we want to be on the forefront of bringing our community together. The board was very intentional about a couple of things that I think we should not just breeze by, is the focus on education. As you've heard multiple times, that education is the greatest economic driver in our community, and this board has aggressively put in roughly over $300,000 associated with education investments as a part of the READ program. And the READ program is a program that's intended to raise academic success in our community, not to buy book bags or other things, to make sure that we make investments in the academic gains of our young people. And so through the leadership of the City Council, through the Education Advisory Board, there is direct allocations to service providers and to institutions to help raise the grades. And we want to see a situation where all of our schools elevate a grade until they're at a B at minimum, and we sustain that B and then eventually move up to what is an A. And so we have a lot of opportunities there. The Youth Council, a project that is near and dear to your heart, as well as Councilperson Miller Anderson. We are now bringing young people into government to look at leadership roles to help us build our community. And so we've got the establishment of our Youth Council, something that has taken years to make, but it's been the work of the board that has facilitated that. And so you have that starting as well. And so with our YEP and our summer internship, there's a lot of great programs that we have to offer that the community should know that's out there. And that's why this platform and this conversation is so important. There's so many things that the city of Riviera Beach does that people don't know.
We had to really create this platform, not just this platform, but all the marketing pieces. And I understand we had to stabilize a lot of what was going on within government. And once we stabilized it, we can now showcase the greatness that's happening and that's coming. So keeping them involved and making sure that Riviera Beach continues to grow strong. How can our residents get involved and provide feedback to actually what they're seeing and what they're hearing and what needs to come to our community?
So a couple of ways, right? First and foremost, if we have residents that are looking for gainful employment opportunities, we want to employ individuals that live in Riviera Beach. One of the things that I can tell you I appreciate the most is the passion and the compassion that our residents have shared with me throughout my entire duration, even back to 2017. And I believe that we as an organization should provide opportunities for them to be gainfully employed in the community that they love. So if they want to help, the quickest way is we want you to be part of the team. If you're driving over to different places and we have employment opportunities, please seek those out. If you want to participate, sign up on advisory boards. You know, and as well as the council members know, that we have a bunch of advisory board opportunities that we want to hear your feedback, but a lot of times those positions go unfilled. And so we want you to participate. And then ultimately attend some of our meetings. We have a series of meetings that will be coming out through your office and through other council members. Come to those meetings, share your perspective. There's always a member of administration there, and certainly we're going to be able to assist and address your concerns. And then just email or phone call to our office. One of the things we're also looking to utilize our website to put in systems that you can text the city manager and somebody from my office will be able to respond to whatever your issue is. So we really want to make sure that if it's a problem for you on S Avenue or E Avenue, that it's a problem for us in city administration. And
so they're going to be able to text you now, is what you're saying?
not text my phone directly,
saying,
but
you said they could text you. So.
But we will have a text function
awesome.
on there where we can find
Right.
out real time what's going on, and we can address some of the concerns of our residents.
That engagement, that commitment is honorable, because transparency is something that government has lacked in many years, not just our city, but across this nation. So we want to make sure that our residents know everything that's happening, from the budget cycle to approval and implementation of the process, how are we spending their dollars, because it's not our money that we're actually spending. We're actually making sure that the residents are engaged in spending their tax-paying dollars. So thank you for that transparency, that honesty, and that integrity of the community, because you've been consistent with that. So I know it's a long list, but what is one of the most important and proudest accomplishments that you've had in the city of Riviera Beach?
You know, I would say, so I'll get a little personal.
There we go.
I think the thing that brings me the greatest joy is my daughter, Lily, that's from our community, right?
Nice.
And so that to me is something that every time I leave and walk out of that door and I come home, knowing that the work that I'm doing is to make her hometown a better place. And so every project, every initiative, every board meeting, I'm doing it because I want her to be proud of the work her dad is doing. She may not understand it, and she's attended a couple of public meetings with me, but I would say that, you know, personally, that's you know, my proudest moment. Professionally, I think some of the accomplishments that we've been able to do is addressing some of the ailing infrastructure.
Yeah.
Infrastructure not just on the physical infrastructure side, but actually hiring competent and capable professionals to run some of our challenging departments. That's something that is a priority and something that's always been a priority to me. But addressing some of the ailing facilities, when you were a council person and this board was seated back in 2019, I told you all, you were not the board that created these issues, but invariably you're going to be the board that addresses them. And the board has met the match and the moment every time to make the appropriate investments in infrastructure, whether it's fire station, whether it's water treatment, whether it's police station, whether it's police equipment, whether it's compensating your staff fairly and equitably across Palm Beach County, whether it's looking at removing derelict vessels from the Lake Worth Lagoon, looking at roadway infrastructure, stormwater infrastructure. You all have met the moment time and time again, and I have the opportunity to work for a board that gets it. And as a city manager, that's important, because we're only as good as the tools that are provided through the legislative process. And this board has been very committed to making sure, if it's for the betterment of our community, if it's going to improve the quality of life, and if it's going to address what challenges we have and provide economic viability and opportunity, we're going to do it. And the board has met the match and met the moment time and time again. So that, you know, in a nutshell, I would say, you know, some of the physical infrastructure that we have, and I think it's all said and done that you'll see a lot of shovels that will be in offices throughout Riviera Beach because of the projects that we have going on.
You gave the football analogy earlier. We're trying to run up the scoreboard. So I'm thankful for that. The work, and you touched on a lot of people's hearts just now, because people don't even know that you have a little girl here in this community. So when they come pointing that finger at these meetings and they're concerned with some of the issues, they realize that we're raising our children in the same community. So we have the same issues, the same concerns. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the work that you've done. Thank you for the dedication, because our community doesn't realize the impact that it has and the impact that we try to do for them. We're gainfully employed. We're elected officials, but we also just do this for the betterment of our community, for our residents, and for Riviera Beach. So, Mr. Evans, you're a rock star, and we're just honored. A UCF night, guys. So we want to make sure that this young man represents the city well and continues to represent the city well. I'm mic'd up with Mayor Lawson. And before we close, I'm actually going to be sharing our monthly report for our mayor's report to give a recap on what our city council has passed and what they've brought to the community over these years. But I'm thankful for you being here, Mr. Evans, and continue to do great work. Thanks, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Appreciate it. Thanks, sir.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
I'm your retirement fear, but don't be scared. You're still in pre-tirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. This is pretirement.org.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
Even the mighty might not not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Got a message that needs to be heard? Mayor Lawson wants to give your mission a voice. Submit your PSA to be featured on the mayor's new show, Mic'd Up with Mayor Lawson. It's your opportunity to reach thousands. Visit the mayor's page on rivierabch.com to learn more and submit your script today.
Coming up this month, I want you residents to keep an eye on the greatness that's happening in Riviera Beach. We're really focused on addressing housing because we've had a crisis in Palm Beach County. There's a shortage of 100,000 doors throughout Palm Beach County, and there's a need, especially in Riviera Beach. Affordable, workforce, and market rate housing is coming. We actually just recently had our groundbreaking with Villa Lawson that's produced by our CDC. That development with Anita Jenkins and the staff, they've done a great job on making sure that we have housing indoors for the community, and that's going to be 12 additional townhouses that are going to be fee simple, ownership doors in Riviera Beach that's going to be affordable for you. We have the Related group that's going to be bringing market rate, affordable, and workforce housing right to our waterfront. So now having a major international developer in Riviera Beach that's going to address the housing crisis of affordable housing is going to be vital for our community. And we also have multiple projects and townhouses that are going to be continued to build. Our Housing Authority was newly established commissioners. They're doing major progress with the Judge Rogers facility and at the corner of Blue Heron Broadway with the Signature Project. So that housing is going to be a priority, and through our budget and through the fiscal budget, we're understanding that housing needs to be addressed. So workforce housing, affordable housing, market rate housing, something for every resident of Riviera Beach to make sure that we can give you an opportunity to live, work, and play in this community. Riviera Beach is on the move. I want every resident to be part of that progress. Thank you for joining me on Mic'd Up with Mayor Lawson. Remember, this is your city, and your voice matters. So until next time, stay safe, stay involved, and stay proud of Riviera Beach.